In the vast empty land of the Arctic, where ice covers everything, a serious story unfolds. It reminds us about humanity's unending desire for oil. For many years, countries and large companies across the globe have competed fiercely to extract every last drop of fuel from the Earth. This intense race has significantly harmed our planet, pushing the delicate balance of the world's climate to a very dangerous point. One company called K Industries, KI, was very bold. Because everyone wanted more and more fuel, KI started a new and very difficult project. Their big plan was to find and dig out the oil hidden deep under the harsh, untouched wilderness of the Arctic. But this huge plan was sure to fail. Even though their maps showed a lot of oil, the Arctic's extreme remoteness, meaning it's very far away and hard to get to, and its very cold and difficult conditions were too much to handle. KI couldn't build the basic things they needed, like roads and train tracks, to carry the large amounts of oil they hoped to get. Since there was no good way to move their valuable oil, they sadly gave up the project. This left behind not just a failed business, but also a clear scar on the clean, delicate land, showing how human pride can cause problems. Now, 15 years later, the story takes us back to this same distant, freezing place. A new team from KI Wine is working here, but their job is quite different from the people who were here before. Instead of digging for oil, this group has a very important job. They watch the climate. They carefully look for small but worrying changes in the environment. They then report what they find to the government. This scientific work happens while another KI group, not far from their base, keeps trying hard to build a road. They keep failing because of the constant snowfall and the dangerous, always changing ground. This repeated failure is a cold, strong reminder of the huge problems that ruined the first oil digging long ago. A much-needed boost in team spirit arrives when a small plane lands, bringing Pollock, the team's boss, who has been away for a long time.
Motor! Rise and shine. Where's Abby?
Seeing him makes the tired, lonely crew happy, as they haven't seen him in what feels like forever. Pollock is not just a leader, he also brings comfort. He brings a lot of food and drinks, giving the hard-working team a much-needed break and cheering them up in the empty wilderness. That evening, as the group eats dinner together, everyone talks freely, discussing both personal things and work topics. James Hoffman, one of the experienced team members, shares his sad thoughts about the long-lasting environmental problems from past oil digging. He says that even though many early attempts to get oil didn't work, countless companies still dig without thinking, often causing terrible and unexpected issues. He points out the clear dangers of such work, especially the very high risk of fires. These fires are made worse by the large amounts of methane gas trapped under the Earth's surface, a dangerous gas that forms naturally. After dinner, wanting a moment of normal fun and togetherness, the team goes outside to play volleyball under the pale evening light of the Arctic. But the happy mood quickly changes when Elliot, a smart scientist who is good with computers, gets an unlucky nosebleed after an accidental bump.
Oh, he just took a little elbow. He just got a little blood. Hey, Don?
Yeah.
Let's get him inside and get him.
The team quickly brings him inside to help him. The short moment of fun fades into concern. Among these work situations, a more personal secret appears. James and Abby are in a secret romantic relationship, spending their nights together in quiet closeness. However, their secret relationship doesn't stay hidden for long. Pollock finds out about it the very next morning.
I'm not so sure.
His disapproval is very clear. He strongly believes that such personal distractions can dangerously affect the team's important focus and overall safety in this challenging, harsh environment. A newer, younger team member named Maxwell stands out because he is strangely and constantly curious. He repeatedly asks the team strange and unsettling questions about what might be under the 15-year-old abandoned drill site, asking about the old operation.
Hey, have you ever been out to the Kickwell? I mean, I go by it on my way to Site 7, you know.
Right.
His questions seem to suggest more than just simple academic interest. James tells him under the box is just a pipe with a valve on, but Max is curious why and what's under that.
You know, the North video, they talked about it.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, James does his regular work. He goes outside to record important snow measurements and carefully checks his own research papers. His findings are chillingly alarming. The temperature is changing very quickly, showing a faster global warming trend. And right there in the Arctic, the huge Arctic glaciers are melting at an unbelievably fast and scary speed. The ice, which is the very ground they rely on, is literally disappearing.
Is that what he's telling everybody?
Yeah, the permafrost is melting.
Fucking dick.
Back at the old drill site, Max observes the box where the well used to be. He seems almost pulled to it, as he examines the specific KI company pipe where the first oil extraction happened. As evening comes and the brutal Arctic cold gets stronger, the rest of the team returns to base. They are worried because Maxwell hasn't come back. They try many times to contact him by radio, but he doesn't answer.
Maxwell's not back yet. I'm worried the Skidoo is acting up.
A growing feeling of panic takes over the group, causing Abby and Motor, another team member, to bravely go out into the harsh weather to look for him. Even after their hard efforts, Maxwell is nowhere to be found. Back at the base, Pollock asks James to sign some papers, but James refused to do so without having to read the paper first. This clearly upsets Pollock, and in a shocking show of power, he contacts headquarters and asks for James to be removed from the mission.
He's not biting. Yeah.
Later, James received a call telling him he will be transferred as his mission there is done. This effectively leaves James stranded and takes away his power. He is clearly crushed by this sudden dismissal, but he didn't dare confront Pollock.
Really? Just like that.
Later, the team talks about calling their main office for a much-needed helicopter rescue, but Pollock, always practical and maybe a bit too sure of himself, dismisses their worries.
We do this ourselves, and we do it now. I'm not losing a man.
He promises them that Maxwell is probably just lost and will eventually find him if they look through enough. As Pollock predicted, though after a tense wait, Maxwell eventually reappears. The team feels a huge sense of relief.
So you got lost. I mean, what happened?
Welcome back, man.
They immediately offer him food and ask him where he's been, but Maxwell is strangely unresponsive. His manner is distant and unsettling. He simply says he wants to rest before going back to his room. His very unusual behavior leaves everyone confused and deeply worried. A silent question hangs heavily in the air. What happened to him out there?
He hasn't been out here long enough.
Later that night, James tries to be close with Abby, but he finds himself very distracted and unable to focus. Abby, sensing his distress, gently asks what's wrong. He then reveals the grim truth he found from his data. The temperature is dropping rapidly, meaning the area is quickly becoming unlivable. He expresses deep frustration, complaining that his serious warnings will likely be ignored by those in charge, aka Pollock.
But they shut the project down. I don't think they can get those rigs in.
Abby reassures him that she's listening, but she mentioned it could be too late for that. James remains clearly sad, burdened by the terrifying meaning of his discovery. The next day, Pollock, Abby, James, and another team member named Lee go on a trip to the old KI pipe, the same place Maxwell had visited. They are amazed by how well the site has been kept. Even after many years, it looks almost the same. Their main goal is to figure out exactly what happened at this place that could have changed Maxwell's behavior so much, making him go from curious to completely withdrawn. Back at the base, Elliot, always sharp, secretly looks at Hoffman's private documents.
The biosphere turned, become unfamiliar.
The papers clearly describe how serious the climate change is and their urgent, desperate need to contact headquarters before it's too late, before the crisis becomes impossible to fix. However, whether because of a deep fear of Pollock's strong power or some other hidden reason, Elliot chooses to keep this vital information to himself. Suddenly, the sky opens up, and the weather changes quickly into rain. This is unusual in the freezing Arctic, making Elliot quickly nosebleed and rush back to the safety of the base. That evening, during dinner, a clear feeling of uneasiness settles over the group as Elliot starts acting strangely, in a way that is unsettlingly similar to Maxwell's earlier change. Pollock, now clearly worried, questions him, but Elliot remains stubbornly silent.
Wipe your face. You're pathetic.
His behavior is disturbing and alarms the entire team. The group becomes more and more concerned, a chilling question silently echoing among them. What unexplainable power or event at that mysterious drill site is causing their friends to lose their minds? James Hoffman, always the caring one, goes to Maxwell, gently offering him food, but Maxwell refuses to eat.
What happened out there yesterday? When we lost you?
It's haunted.
All right, just...
His words are broken and confused. "Can't you see what's happening?" he mutters, rambling wildly about animals he claims to see. James, confused and nervous, tries to calm him down, clearly stating that there are no animals in this lonely place, just them. Maxwell then lashes out, violently throwing the food James brought him.
I'm telling you, there's something out there that's trying to drive us out of here.
His anger quickly grows until the rest of the team has to physically hold him down. It's a desperate fight against a mind that seems completely lost. Abby, seeing the worsening problem, urgently pleads with Pollock to send James back to headquarters for a professional mental health check. However, Pollock, still holding on to his practical view and perhaps a bit of denial, dismisses her worries. He suggests that James's strange behavior is just a side effect of the extreme cold, assuring Abby that they should wait a few more days, hoping his condition will get better. As late night once again arrives at the distant outpost, a truly chilling and unexplainable event happens. Maxwell, as if in a trance, takes off all his clothes, grabs a camera, and completely open to the harsh weather, dashes out into the merciless snow. With a single strong purpose, he heads directly towards the abandoned KI oil pipe. The next morning, the team wakes up to a horrifying discovery.
What is this now?
Following Maxwell's clear footprints in the fresh snow, they are led to a grim and sad sight. Maxwell's lifeless body, frozen solid. This is a clear, silent sign of the evil force that seems to be taking them, one by one, in this isolated and terrifying wilderness. The discovery of Maxwell's frozen body sends a profound shiver of horror through the remaining team members. A sense of dread, cold and sharp as the Arctic air, settles over them. As they carefully retrieve his lifeless form, their attention is drawn to a small camera clutched in his stiff hand. Back at the base, the gravity of the situation weighs heavily on Pollock, who stares at Maxwell's body with a mixture of disbelief and grim recognition. Desperate for answers, they immediately review the camera's footage. What they see on the small screen is both upsetting and terrifying.
Do you see it?
The video shows Maxwell frantically looking for something no one else can see. His voice is full of a wild, intense energy as he tries to point out many animals that are completely invisible through the camera.
They're out there. They're right out there.
It becomes very clear that Maxwell's mind had given in to a strong delusion. His reality is twisted by scary hallucinations. He sees things that simply aren't there, a clear sign that his mental state is quickly getting worse. Then suddenly and without warning, a huge, blurry creature, a monstrous, shadowy shape, leaps from behind Maxwell.
You see it? You see it?
It attacks him violently, ending his life with brutal speed. Pollock, having watched the entire horrifying scene, quickly makes a shocking decision. With a careful, almost planned movement, he takes the SD card from the camera. To the confused horror of the others, he burns it.
You can't burn that. What the hell do you think you're doing?
His team immediately protests, demanding to know why he destroyed such important evidence. They argue that this video was undeniable proof, something they could show the government to make them understand the very real and immediate danger they are facing, and to beg for immediate rescue. But Pollock, his face showing no emotion, strongly dismisses their worries. He insists it was just a shared delusion, a trick of their overworked minds.
He wandered off and he died of exposure!
Did you hear what he was saying?
He refuses to give any more explanations, leaving a deep sense of unease and suspicion among the remaining crew. The increasing horror pushes James Hoffman to act. He confronts Pollock, his voice filled with urgency, begging them to leave immediately. But Pollock, now acting like an absolute ruler, completely refuses. "We have to handle this situation. We are not going anywhere, and you will follow my orders," he declares. However, just when they were arguing, Elliot's nose once again bleeds and Abby orders him to go inside. Hoffman, however, bravely stands against what he sees as madness, refusing to obey. At night, James stays alone outside with the corpse of Maxwell, but he heard some noises at the back and went there to see if anything was wrong. He found Motor, who was fixing an engine in the late night, and he doesn't seem okay.
We might have to get out of here.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, your hands.
My hands are fine. Can hardly feel them.
James tries to persuade him it's late and to go inside, but it's clear Motor's ability to think clearly is shrinking, just as we witnessed with Maxwell.
I'm heading down south. Had it, I'm out of here.
That night, James had it enough and once again tried to persuade Pollock to leave, but he was unsuccessful. Tired, he sits down by himself, but suddenly he starts to have hallucinations of all the bad things that happened so far, including the sight of Max's ghost hunting him in the hallways. Afraid, he turned the lights on and saw no one was there, and all the fear was in his head. He then walked towards Elliot's room to see how he is doing. But here, once again, another tragic event occurs. Elliot is found dead. A lot of blood stains his face from a severe nosebleed. Now the pure terror among the survivors grows even stronger. Desperate, they try to contact headquarters, but all their ways of communicating fail. Neither phone calls nor emails can get through, leaving them completely cut off from the outside world. Their last hope rests with their pilot, their only connection to civilization. They manage to reach him, pleading for an immediate rescue flight. The pilot, showing great courage and loyalty, responds quickly.
Wind pickup, Gary? Pure white nothingness.
He brings his small plane back towards their remote base. However, the Arctic's unpredictable weather, perhaps unnaturally influenced by the growing horror around them, takes a sudden, disastrous turn. The plane, hit by unseen forces, becomes uncontrollable. It veers wildly before crashing directly into their base. The impact causes a huge explosion, setting the outpost on fire. The pilot and co-pilot are instantly burned to death, their bodies destroyed by the flames. The flying team members from the plane, including Motor, who was around there at the moment, are badly hurt, their screams adding to the chaos. With their only way to escape gone, they are truly trapped, surrounded by the growing unknown danger. They tried to save and bring the burned victims into the house. Dawn, the woman who cooks for the team, tried to give them morphine and managed to stop their scream of agony.
Okay, hang in there.
You're gonna be all right, Mom. Hang on.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. You gotta get us out of here.
After the fiery crash, Pollock, calming himself as he could, approaches James. "Do you have any way out of here?" he asks with a desperate look in his eyes. James, always clever at finding solutions, reveals two possible options. A small, far-off village is some distance away, offering a small chance of safety or help. Or the road construction crew is working about 8 miles from their current location. Pollock quickly grabs onto this information, and they decide to go towards the construction site.
Use your help. 2 of us.
They get into a small buggy, a fragile vehicle against the vast, unforgiving landscape, and drive towards where the road crew should be. But when they arrive, a chilling silence greets them. The site is empty. 2 large trucks stand abandoned, their engines cold, with no sign of any person anywhere.
What is going on? God damn it. No juice at all. Supposed to be
Their
here.
attempts to use the radio at the site don't work. It's completely broken. With no other choice, Pollock and James decide to keep going toward the village, hoping to find help there. Their already desperate plan quickly gets worse when they find that the buggy's fuel tank has been punctured and all the precious oil is completely lost. With no other option, they start their difficult journey on foot. After a long, tiring walk, they reach a place Pollock believes, according to his map, should have a river. But the land looks confusingly the same, a huge stretch of snow and ice. As Pollock steps forward, the dangerous ice beneath him suddenly breaks, plunging him into the freezing depths of the hidden river below. James quickly reacts, pulling Pollock from the icy water, taking off his wet clothes and desperately trying to keep him warm. They manage to start a small fire, huddling together as night falls. The biting cold is a constant, evil presence that accompanies them. Back at the ruined base, the remaining 3 survivors, Abby, Dawn, and Lee, are overcome with terror. Suddenly, Lee strangely disappears. Dawn finds his boots left in the snow, but Lee himself is gone, swallowed by the huge, silent wilderness. It's horrifyingly clear that Lee, like Maxwell before him, has given in to the same maddening force, driven out into the unforgiving snow. Meanwhile, Lee's terrifying disappearance pushes Dawn over the edge. She falls into a terrifying frenzy, her actions becoming wild and violent. In her mentally disturbed state, she attacks and brutally kills the barely alive Motor, who was still suffering from the plane crash.
Dawn! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Abby, seeing Dawn's terrifying breakdown, tries to stop her, to pull her back from the deep hole of madness. In the violent struggle that follows, Abby shoves Dawn. Dawn falls awkwardly, and her neck breaks with a sickening crunch. Dawn dies instantly, leaving Abby as the only survivor at the destroyed base. Meanwhile, James, fighting his own growing confusion, starts talking about the old pipeline that ran through this area years ago, revealing that he worked there back then. He thinks that the land itself is causing their hallucinations. He believes their madness comes from gases leaking from beneath the Earth's surface, gases that subtly twist the human mind, causing confusion and scary visions. Yet even as he explains this chilling possibility, he urges Pollock to stay in control, to fight against the madness that is creeping in. Pollock, his voice heavy with an unspoken fear, asks James if he believes in God. James, always practical despite what they are going through, shakes his head. As they continue their desperate conversation, a terrifying change happens within James. He starts talking about animals he can see, just like Maxwell did. Pollock tries to calm him, to reason with him, but James's hallucinations become stronger, more vivid and terrifying.
You gotta calm down, man! I don't see anything! The boot! Give me the boot!
In a desperate attempt to break the spell of delusion, Pollock is forced to hit James across the face with a stick, knocking him unconscious. When James wakes up, the cold light of dawn filters through the icy landscape. Pollock is gone, leaving only his footprints in the snow. James, now alone, slowly and with great effort, follows Pollock's fading tracks. As he stumbles forward, a desperate call comes through on his radio. It's Abby. Her voice is a raw whisper of terror, explaining that she's the only one left, that everyone else is dead, pleading for him to bring help quickly.
You're gonna sound the alarm, you're gonna tell the whole world, and people are gonna...
We're gonna be okay. Just hold on.
James pushes on, his strength fading, until he stumbles upon a horrifying sight, Pollock's lifeless body. Before he can fully understand this new tragedy, an unseen force shoves him from behind, sending him falling. He quickly grabs his flare gun, realizing he's now close to what might be a town. He fires the flare into the sky, a desperate signal for help. But his hope lasts only a moment. A monstrous creature, its shape still mostly hidden by the swirling snow, appears and grabs James. As the monster drags him away, James's mind flashes back to his childhood, a sad memory before his final end. We understand that James also dies. The film's haunting end focuses on Abby. Her eyes slowly open, and she finds herself in a clean, white hospital bed. She carefully gets up and walks out into the hospital hallways, only to find a deep and terrifying silence. The hospital is empty. It seems the doctors have also fallen victim to the widespread madness, taking their own lives. As Abby steps outside the hospital, the full extent of the disaster is revealed. The world outside has completely changed. Huge areas of water stretch as far as she can see, being hit by fierce winds. The air is filled with the distant, desperate screams of people, a chilling sound of widespread destruction. The world she once knew has been completely altered, flooded and ruined by the results of humanity's endless interference. And with this terrifying vision of a world swallowed by its own pride, the film comes to its stark, unforgettable end. Blending eco-horror with psychological suspense, The Last Winter explores how mankind's hunger for resources triggers both environmental collapse and personal unraveling. Set in the bleak isolation of the Arctic, the story follows a climate research team haunted by hallucinations, vanishing crew members, and an unseen force tied to a failed oil drilling site. As reality blurs and survival slips away, the film delivers a chilling reminder of nature's power and the cost of ignoring its warnings.